Anders. Thank you for the organizers for inviting me here and share some thoughts about biorefining and more. I will tell you a little bit about more later. Great to be in Göteborg. This is one of our ST1 hometowns. Very good to share the greyness of Helsinki with some other cities as well. Okay, a little bit background of ST1. We are a private-owned company and we have a great vision to be leading producer and seller of CO2-aware energy. And by that we mean that, of course, we want to transform our fossil fuel business to renewable business. Our owner says that biofuels is not enough, which is for me a little bit tricky question, but it means that we have to also build carbon sinks, forestations. We have to also recycle the existing carbon in the atmosphere, and we will look forward those things. But in the biofuel space, of course, we need to be sustainable in all the measures, and that's what we want to do. A little bit about our footprint. We are not a company. We are a energy company, and most of our business is currently in street level that we sell on 1,400 outlets on Shell and ST1 brands, fossil fuels to the consumers, and of course biofuels to the consumers. We are biggest wind energy producer in Finland in cooperation with a large grocery chain, and well, quite significant footprint in the energy sales of Nordic countries. We have an oil refinery here in Göteborg. I'll get back to that. And then we have some ethanol production in Finland and Sweden today. This is our value chain, and originally this was drawn for our own people to understand why they are in this business and where our vision is this, and what the hell they are doing in this vision while they are selling fossil fuel, for example. And basic idea is that everybody has a place in our organization in this value chain. And we start from here, from sustainable feedstocks or raw materials. And we always use waste, wind, geothermal heat, something very, very sustainable. That is our goal. We have an oil refinery. We use crude oil, of course, today. I was thinking that this is artist view that the crude oil is green somehow, but it's not true. But we have done the first move to transform this oil refinery to be renewable refinery. We are just announced our investment to renewable diesel line, and we add more production on that sector, producing HVO from sustainable sources, of course. Then we have our biorefinery where I come, and then we have ground source heating, heat plants, and geothermal heat and wind power, like said. And all these production produces energy for the consumers and our markets. These production units also supply a lot of fuels, biocomponents, and we buy a lot of fuels and biocomponents and blend them to be excellent premium products for the consumers. And what comes to the sourcing point of view, we have a sister company called North European Oil Trade, and believe me that they will handle any obligation or requirement on blending targets by sourcing. So if we don't produce what is required, they can source. And that means that if the mandate is high and we even higher in the future, of course we can source from the globe what is required. For example, we have already imported some HVO from China, used cooking oil based, very good. But is it good in terms of environmental and everything what is actually planned in when we are stating the requirements and and blending obligatories. Well, not necessarily the idea that we import the biofuels. But our plan is, of course, to build more own capacity, and then we don't need to import Chinese stuff. Well, our customers, they are in consumers, and of course there's industries and number of businesses, and they provide money. And our people and our back offices enables the run the business, and we generate quite a lot of cash flow and from return on equity. And we are very proud to pay also some taxes in all these countries, quite a lot of actually of those. And what is left actually is planned to invest to the renewable energy investments, either new investments or developing the investments or implementation and commercialization of technologies. Obviously, the issue here is that these are not available from shop, so we have to do quite a lot of development. And earlier we did it by ourselves, but today we are more keen to cooperate with other companies and academia with that, and that's why we are here actually. And all these operations are based on Nordic values. So simple as that. We run a big business and try to make it bigger and also more sustainable, and also serve the vision, leading producer and seller of CO2-aware energy. And this is one example. We have built a demonstration plant to produce cellulosic ethanol and byproducts in our biorefinery. This is old paper mill site in North Finland in Kajaani, and there we have installed our demonstration plant. Here we can see it's integrated fully. It's brownfield. There is a sawmill and there's a power plant. We are integrated with these guys, and recycling also some old equipment, and everything looks fine. Feedstock sawdust is definitely on directives Annex 9A list, and we treat it on thermochemical processes and produce ethanol. Of course, in biorefinery you produce a lot of other products, and that is actually our big interest and simultaneously a challenge. We have furfural, we have turpentine, we have wood syrup, and we have biogas, we have liquid carbon dioxide, and especially we have lignin. And all these must be marketed as sellable products. We don't want to put them into the river, no. We don't want to get rid of those with some penalty gate fee or whatever. We want to make them as a good, valuable products. And here is actually my message of advanced biofuels and more. These are the more part. And what we want to do with this is actually that we don't want to develop the market for these products. We want to cooperate with industries to develop those further as sellable products and as valuable as possible, of course. We have done a lot of work with lignin. We have tested this as a concrete plasticizer. We have tested as a injection carbon to the steel mill, and number of pyrolysis and other tricks has been done. But today still it's burned in a local boiler house to produce electricity and steam for us. But looking forward that, because this is very big volume and in ton point of view, very interesting part of the business. Wood syrup, we have from August sold this as a component for a fertilizer company or fertilizer producer company, and they mix it with other components, and then we can recycle the nutrients back to the field, and that's very cool, interesting. Turpentine is a very, very classic chemical, We have interesting discussions on furfural development to produce it, some other chemicals to be used in for example, in foundries. Biogas, of course, is something that we can use as a traffic fuel or any other fuel in our operation. And very interesting is this carbon dioxide. The original plan was liquefy it and sell it as a carbon dioxide for beverage industry or whatever industry. But today we are piloting, for example, a technology where this carbon dioxide is methanized and it produces biogas for our further years. So number of things are on the way to make it happen. It's important that these values goes up because the production process, all the enzymes, all the utilities we use are pretty expensive, and the process itself as a capex is very expensive. So the net production cost is what we are looking here in the biorefinery. We try to put the net production cost as low as possible, and therefore we need the netting incomes from the side products. And that's big question mark over there. Another issue where I want to address that we need cooperation is actually the process itself. In this industry we have been very clever to hide our secrets and patent this and put NDAs there and try to keep everybody fuzzy that what we have already done and trialed and errored, and try to ask the same questions from the others. But I think that it is the wrong way. We should team up, build centers and build good relationships to each other to solve these problems what we have, for example, with the pretreatment availability. Because if we all fail time after time, then the mandates and the promise of the industry will also be failed. And therefore, this is immature situation still in this business, and we need to do quite a lot of work together to get the processes right and also develop these beautiful side products to be valuable products for the next generations. And simultaneously, there were earlier speaking about how old cars we drive and so on. We need ethanol for decades, that's for sure, to replace the gasoline. But in the long run, hopefully, the lignin is so good in, say, plastic applications or whatever, that we are speaking about lignin factory, not ethanol factory. And the ethanol part is the side product of that lignin producing factory. Sounds like a Norwegian company, I think. But that's the way we like to think about this, and we want to develop with this business that direction. And in the long run, we all run on different type of powertrains, electricity or whatever, but we have to start with biofuels, and there is decades of need and interest for the biofuels, of course. So this was my introduction to the industry focus group. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.